Hey, Mr. Lichty here, and we're going to move on to Chapter 4, Section 3, Solving Equations by Adding or Subtracting. First, we need to hit a few definitions. So the first thing we're going to define are equations. An equation just shows that two expressions are equal. In other words, it has an equal sign. So, for example, I have x plus 5 equals 7. So the expression x plus 5 equals the other expression, 7. Take a second to get that in your notes. The next example, our definition, is a solution. A solution is the value for the variable that makes the equation true. So, for example, if we use the same equation, I bet you know in your head what the solution to that equation is. The solution is x equals 2. So this right here, x equals 2, is the solution to that equation because it makes it true. 2 plus 5 equals 7. Okay? The next definition, the golden rule of algebra. Okay, you've probably heard this before. The golden rule. Whatever you do to one side of an equation, you must do the exact same thing to the other side. Take a second, make sure you have the golden rule down. Okay? Why does this rule make perfect sense? Well, if we take a silly equation like 3 equals 3, okay, I'm going to split the equation down the equal sign. So I have my left side and I have my right side. Okay? If on the left side I add 2, I have to do the exact same thing on the right side. Now on the left, 3 plus 2 is 5, and it still equals 5. They are still equal because I did the exact same thing to both sides. Let's back it up a couple steps. Let's say, I'm just going to make something else up. Let's say I want to subtract 7 on this side. If I want it to still be equal, I have to do the exact same thing on the other side. On the left side, 3 minus 7, negative 4. On the right side, 3 minus 7, negative 4. They are still equal. Told you this is a silly rule, but you have to remember this. So I'm going to make something else up. Let's say I want to times by 4. If I do that on the left side, times 4, I would have to do the exact same thing on the right side in order for them to stay equal. 3 times 4 on the left, 12. 3 times 4 on the right, 12. They are still equal. One more. Let's say I wanted to divide by 2 on this side. I would have to divide this side by 2. So on the left, I have 1.5. On the right, I have 1.5. They are still equal. Okay? So that was just why the golden rule makes perfect sense. Exact same thing to both sides of the equal sign. All right. Let's talk about one more quick definition, inverse operations. Inverse operations, an inverse operation undoes an operation. For example, let's say we have the equation x plus 3 equals 10. First, I'm going to, again, draw my line down the equal sign. So on the left side, I have x plus 3. I want to undo the plus 3. To undo plus 3, I need to minus 3. But I need to do the exact same thing on each side. I need to follow the golden rule. So on the left side, I have x plus 3 minus 3. Those totally go away. They cancel out. And I'm left with just x. On the right side, I have 10 minus 3 is 7. And since I followed the golden rule, I know that those two things are still equal. Voila! My answer, my solution is x equals 7. Let's do another example. Let's say I have 3 equals x minus 6. Draw my line, down the equal sign. I have my left side, my right side. Okay? Right now I have x minus 6. The inverse operation of minus 6 would be plus 6. I need to do the exact same thing on the other side. I need to follow the golden rule. And now this equation simplifies to x plus 6 minus 6. Those cancel out. I'm left with x equals 9. Boom, there is my solution. Last example, I have 3/10 equals x minus 6/10. Draw my line. Okay, so I want to get rid of minus 6/10. The inverse operation of minus would be plus. So I need to plus 6/10. I need to follow the golden rule, do it to both sides. Simplifying this side, those cancel out to 0. I'm left with x over here, and over here I'm left with 9/10. Boom, my answer is x equals 9/10. I want you to do these 3 problems on your own. Show the work. I'll give you just a minute to finish these. Okay? Now that you've had a chance to work on these, I'm just going to quickly show this and the work on these problems. I would subtract 6 on both sides. I'm left with x equals -5. Answer. Second one, I want to add 12 to both sides. Those cancel. I'm left with x equals 8. That's the solution. On this one, I want to subtract 1 2/3. I have to follow the golden rule. Those two cancel. I'm left with, I'm going to do a little scratch work over here. So I have 16/5 minus 5/3. I need to times 3 times 3 times 5 times 5. So I have 48/15 minus 25/15. 48 minus 25 is 23. So my answer is x equals 1 8/15. Answer. Good job.